Hey everybody, this next review will be King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King, 1969. All right. Right here. All right. An observation by King Crimson is what it says on the inside cover. Very interesting. Released on October 10th, 1969. Produced by King Crimson. The lineup is Bob Fripp, or Robert Fripp, on guitars. Guitars only, by the way. Ian McDonald. He's playing reeds and woodwinds. Among them, flute. Woodwinds, vibes, mellotron, keyboards, and vocals. So Ian McDonald's doing a lot, and he's writing a lot of the material, actually. Greg Lake. Michael Giles on drums, and Peter Sinfield on lyrics. And I'll admit, I suppose I thought that Peter Giles was the bass player on this, but he's not. He's not involved at all. He was with Giles, and Fripp. But he's not the bass player. Greg Lake is indeed playing the bass, and he's the lead vocalist. The cover is by Gary Godber. I don't know who that is. I don't like this cover. In fact, it's one of my least favorite album covers. And when you look at it, well, it's when you fold it out, it's just weird. I mean, it's a weird piece of art. I don't like looking through the nostrils. I don't like the eyes and the mouth. I think the mouth is weird. And the inside's a weird picture of the man. And I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what this means. That's what he's doing. Or I don't know. Yeah, an observation by King Crimson is what it says. And you got the lyrics. I suppose this would be about what getting an album was like back in the 60s, back in 1969. Most of these songs are credited to the band, but like I said, Ian McDonald has one with Sinfield. Pete Sinfield is the writer. He writes the lyrics and all the lyrics. And Ian McDonald, he's credited for 2 songs on this. I Talk to the Wind and The Court of the Crimson King. And then the rest of the songs are basically band credits, okay? And this is I got this in the 90s. So I've had this for a long time. And this is one of my, well, it's not. I was going to say this is a controversial BMG, but it's not. Looks like I bought this in a record store. Probably Best Buy or Exclusive Company or something like that. I guess, or Radio Chaos. Okay. Let's get back to the business. In the Court of the Crimson King. 5 songs, 44 minutes. Credited as the first prog rock album. This comes out 2 full years ahead of Piper at the Gates of Dawn by Pink Floyd. I don't know. I think Piper is a prog album. I don't know why it's not called the first prog album. Maybe they were just like, this is the first one they're calling a prog album, but Piper and I bet Saucer Full of Secrets predates this too. This album has a real jazz fusion, free-form experimentation feel to it, especially on a couple of tracks I'll point out when we get to them. At times the music is very, very structured, very traditional, and at other times it just goes off untethered into free expression, sometimes with a very minimalist feel to it, or minimist or minimalist. The mellotron, it's here, and it permeates and dominates a lot of the album. It's big time, and Ian McDonald gets the credit for that. And the rhythm section is awesome. Greg Lake and Michael Giles, especially on Epitaph, my favorite song on the album, they're just like spot on, okay? And Moonchild has a lot of improv noodling for 12 minutes, starts as a real song and then drifts away, piano and typewriter songs at the end. We'll get to that one, okay? Let's go through the tracks. The first track is the 21st Century Schizoid Man, including Mirrors, 7 minutes and 20 seconds. A song about the Vietnam War is what Genius says. 21st Century Schizoid Man, the first thing you hear a lot is a lot of the saxophones blasting away at the beginning and the main riff. Da 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 da. I mean, you can really hear the saxophones and the other instruments, but the sax is way over the top. Ian McDonald. Bum, bum, bum. And this song was a big time influence to Chris Squire for the song Heart of the Sunrise, and I'll point that out to you. 21st Century. Okay, key of E flat or C minor. It's probably C minor. At least that's how the song starts, and that's what it looks like. I looked at the paper sheets. 142 beats per minute. The first part of the song is called 21st Century Schizoid Man. It's the verse starts, cats, food, iron claw. That's 8 bars. And then the refrain is just when he says 21st Century Schizoid Man, and that's 12 bars after that. And then then the second verse is blood rack, barbed wire. That's 8 bars, and then the refrain is 21st Century Schizoid Man again, and that's 12 bars. That's the first part of the song, okay? So it does that. The second part of the song is Mirrors, and it's an instrumental chime change from 4/4 to 3/4 time. And the 32 bars before the doot doot doot. Okay, it's the doot 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 doot, kind of like Heart of the Sunrise. It's the key of E major, which is also what Heart of the Sunrise is by Yes. It's a Yes song. And by the way, Fripp has chosen a really cool sound for his lead part. So the Heart of the Sunrise part is the doo-doo, 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 doo, doo-doo. It's not exactly like Heart of the Sunrise, but and then there's a real long guitar solo after that, okay? And then you go back to the doo-doo, doo-doo. And I should mention the actual Heart of the Sunrise sounding part is the dum 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 dum. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like the main riff of Heart of the Sunrise. Okay, so it goes back and forth between those sections. Then there's a guitar part and a drum duet. It's almost like a guitar and drum duet that goes on for a while, and that's really cool. I like how they play together a lot, and it's you hear Michael Giles doing that tap 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 tap, and he's playing at the same time as Fripp in the same meter, same cadence. Okay, and then you go back to the Heart of the dum 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 part. And then that's the end of part 2. Then part 3 is the reprise. It goes back to the verse. But there's 12 bars of music before the first verse. So you hear the big, the reprise coming back, and then the verse of 8 bars. Just like at the beginning. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, and then the chorus is 12 bars. And then it ends with a real chaotic jazz ending. It's a fun ending. So 24th Century Schizoid Man, first track, great start, excellent track. Second track is I Talk to the Wind, 6 minutes and 5 seconds. Genius says it's a song questioning the divine or God or religion or, I mean, I guess when I hear I Talk to the Wind, it reminds me of the song Here, There, and Everywhere by the Beatles. It has that real, it's not just the lyrics of the line, but it's the feel of the song, okay? The first 12 bars and then the lyrics, I've been here, I've been there, that's what reminds me of Here, There, and Everywhere. Okay, I Talk to the Wind. The first thing you hear in the song is something that sounds like a flute. It's probably Ian McDonald on a flute. And Greg Lake is singing in his best voice with very little effect applied, which is contradictory. It's different from the first song, 21st Century. He's like really... his voice is being doctored or effects applied to it. And then, by the way, Greg Lake, let's just say he's my second favorite King Crimson vocalist. I'm not ranking the vocalists, but I'll probably go John Wetton 1, Greg Lake 2. And then, I don't know, between Adrian and that Jocko guy, probably Jocko, but... John Wetton he's in my top 5. So was Lake, okay, of all time. I'm going off into a tangent here. Let's just get right back on track. This song is a slow tempo song, unless you count it like, if you count it in double time, it's 156 beats per minute. That made more sense to me, counting like that. It's the key of E major, I think, 4/4 time. It's a light and pleasant song. sort of like Here, There, and Everywhere. And the verse is 16 bars, and that's when Greg Lake's singing, said the straight man to the late man. And that's 16 bars, and then it goes into the chorus, which is 20 bars, and that's when he's, I talk to the wind. And there's this cool melody playing in the background when he's singing. The instrumental part of the song is a flute solo, I believe, at 28 bars total. About 16 bars of that are the flute solo, and then the rest, the extra 12 bars, is just replaying what's in the verse and the chorus. It's a verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, instrumental, break, chorus, verse. And that's I Talk to the Wind. And the song ends with a lot of flute. Okay, so this one, much more traditional song structure compared to 21st Century, which is broken up into 3 parts, and you got the verse, refrain, and then part 2. This one is much more like a traditional song. The third track is Epitaph, including March for No Reason and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And so this is another one that's like broken up into 3 parts. Okay, so I'll take that approach to this song. It's 8 minutes and 47 seconds. It starts at 126 beats per minute, and it's in 4/4 time, and the key is E minor. And the Epitaph part starts with a really cool mellotron with some pretty guitar at the beginning, and the verse is it's 32 bars, and then the chorus is it's when he's singing "The future is my epitaph." That's 26 bars, about 26 bars, with some additional phrases at the end that set up the next verse. Okay. And there's there's the intro part with the mellotron and the pretty guitar, and then there's a verse, and then there's a chorus, and then there's another verse, and that's the Epitaph part. The March for No Reason part, it's an instrumental, and then it goes into the verse, which is another 32 bars, and then a chorus, which is 28 bars. And then the ending of the song, which is Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which is an instrumental. So the whole song it's an instrumental at the beginning, and then a verse, chorus, and then a verse, and then it goes into the verse and chorus of March for No Reason. And then at the end, Greg Lake is singing, "Yes, I fear tomorrow I'll be crying." That's how it goes. And that's the Tomorrow and Tomorrow part, which is it's the singing, but it's really just the instrumental. You're really getting the heavy mellotron. Okay, so that's Epitaph. Epitaph's probably my favorite song on the album, I'll say. I like that one. Track 4 is Moonchild, including The Dream and The Illusion, which is 12 minutes and 11 seconds. Now, this is another, like, a 3-parter. Okay. So, but it's a 2-parter. Okay, so, Moonchild, the song, the whole track, is a lot of improv noodling for 12 minutes. And, it starts as a real song, and then it drifts away. And the piano and typewriter songs at the end, and then there's a slow arpeggiated guitar part. That's the song, okay? Moonchild is essentially 2 parts. So the dream part is these real abstract lyrics, and it's a 16 part verse, 16 bars, and it's a 16-bar chorus. And it just goes verse, chorus, verse, chorus. That's the Moonchild. And he's singing, "Caller Moonchild, dancing into the shallows of a river, lonely Moonchild, dreaming in the shadow of the willow." Okay, that's the song. The chorus, "Talking to the trees of the cobweb, strange." It doesn't make any sense. The Illusion is freeform instrumental improv. This is jazz. Okay. There's no structure. It's real minimalist. There's a lot of light picking and plucking by Bob Fripp on guitar. And it eventually, I mean, at first you think he's actually playing a song, but it just kind of drifts into nothing, into weird sounds, like Fripp plucking and then some typewriter sounds. That's the song. That's the whole song, Moonchild. And I should say, there's a version on the box set. I don't talk about this a lot, but I got this. By the way, I got this for Christmas. It's the 50th anniversary. It's the Blu-ray, and it's got 4 discs. But there is a version of Moonchild on this that's pretty interesting. Okay. The final track is in the Court of the Crimson King, 9 minutes and 22 seconds. I guess this is the title track to the album. I want to read this to you from Genius. Crimson King is about oppressors and manipulators. It also describes the various states of mind I was in when thinking about them. The characters I purposely left open, therefore the yellow jester is a manipulator I see, and perhaps others that you see. As I remember, the Fire Witch, it was an arms dealer I had read about, and the rest of the song is all compiled like that. Those are the words of Peter Sinfield, who wrote the lyrics. The track is dominated by a distinct motif. This is also from Genius. Adopted from Ian McDonald from Samuel Barber's Essay for Orchestra. This opening, initially performed on the mellotron, serves as the basis for the song's chorus. It also includes 4 verses, 2 bridge sections, and ends with a brief interlude in cacophonous. I don't usually use $1,000 words like that. Coda, both of which reprise the opening theme. Okay. So that's the Genius take. In the Court of the Crimson King, has excellent mellotron parts. It's in E minor. It's 138 beats per minute. At least that's how I like to count it. The faster, and it's in 4/4 time. The verse is 16 bars. Okay, and in the verse part, he's the rusted trains of prison moons are shattered by the sun. I walk a road, horizon charged. The tournament's begun. The purple piper plays his tune. The chair softly sings 3 lullabies in an ancient tongue for the court of the Crimson King. Da 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 da. Okay, so that verse is 16 bars, and then when he sings in the Court of the Crimson King, that is the refrain. That's 16 bars, but it's just them going Okay, and then it repeats. A second verse is 16 bars, and then back to the Court of the Crimson King. That's 16 bars. Then there's an instrumental bridge of 20 bars. Plus an additional 16 bars of the part, okay? And then there's another verse of 16 bars, and then back to the refrain, which is the part, and then a flute solo. And this is the return of the Fire Witch, when the flute solo starts. That's around the 7-minute, 30-second mark, and I counted out 39 bars of flute solo, okay? And then you come back to the verse for 16 bars again, and a refrain of another 16 bars. So this is the next part of the return of the Fire Witch. Then lastly, there's an instrumental outro. Okay, and the instrumental outro. This is the Dance of the Puppets part. It's the ending of the song, like you know what it is. It's a flute or a recorder. I'm not sure which. It could be either, honestly. Playing the refrain. It's probably a recorder, now that I think about it. It's that part. It sounds like a recorder, okay? And then the Dance of the Puppets. So it goes 48 bars of that of that. 16 bars of that 48 bars is the flute, and then the whole band joins. And when the whole band joins, it's like a big dot 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 by Michael Giles. And so there's this big drum entrance, and then it's 16 bars of the same da 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 da, that whole part. And then they do it one more time just for fun. Okay, so that's the 48 bars. And that's the end of the song. And that is the album King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King. Now, in summary, this is an excellent album. By the way, if I haven't said so a million times, King Crimson is my favorite band. This album gets a 4.64, which is good for 4th place all time behind Close to the Edge, Selling England by the Pound, and Wish You Were Here at progarchives.com. You can go look at it yourself. 4th place. People really love this album. I mean, I think it's excellent. It's not my favorite. It's not even in my top 5 King Crimsons. It's not even my top 6. I've got Red. I've got Larks. In the Wake of Poseidon. And Lizard are all better. Islands too. Probably what's the one after before Red? Starless and Bible Black. That one's probably better too, actually. I'm not saying this is bad. I just like other King Crimson albums better. Okay, this is excellent. But I'm a King Crimson freak. Okay. What else do I have to say? I think that's it. Next up on the channel, I'm gonna do Rush, Snakes and Arrows. Jeez. Yeah. It's not Rush's best album. Where it fits in the rankings, I'm not sure. But that'll be next, probably later this week or maybe over the weekend. I'll try to get it up before Friday, right? Coach Plow Guy out. Go Brewers.